Jai Hind everyone. Welcome to the lecture series of manufacturing processes with subject code VME 403. I am Dr. Suman Gotwal, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the different pattern allowances that we provide during the pattern design and different types of molding sand that we use and what type of properties should be available in the molding sand. First, we are going to discuss about the allowances. So what is the meaning of allowance? Allowance is basically the margin which will be provided with in the dimensions of the pattern and the casting, or the tolerances which we will provide in the dimension of casting and the pattern. So pattern, as we have already discussed, at that it is the replica of the final object. So the difference in the dimensions of the casting and pattern due to various allowances considered while designing the pattern for the casting, because where factors are responsible, or where factors are responsible for the um, we can say the various factors are involved when we do the casting. Means, for example, we may want the machining on the casted part. We can have the requirement of the uh, shaking or wrapping. There can be the shrinkage or the contraction. Okay, there may be vertical surfaces present. So for all these, we need the allowances. Okay, so we will discuss these allowances one by one in detail. So first allowance is the shrinkage or the contraction allowance. Okay. The second one is the machining or finish allowance. The third is the taper or draft allowance. The next one is the camber or the distortion allowance. And the last one is the shake or the shaking or the wrapping allowance. Okay. So what is the meaning of the shrinkage or contraction allowance? In this diagram, you can see the first diagram is indicating when the molten material is poured. Means it is the starting level immediately after pouring. This is the level. This is the flask molding box, and in which is having the mold cavity, and this red color is showing basically the molten metal. This is the starting level, and this is the dimension at the time of the pouring. Okay, this is the dimension of the cavity. Now you can see during the solidification there will be reduction in the level due to their liquid contraction. So the material come here from here, and there is contraction near the wall of the molding box. Okay, so this is the initial solidification. So the contraction is taking place. So we have to provide the allowance. Means we have to create our mold cavity larger than the required size, or it will be created when we will make our pattern larger than the required casting. Okay, so this larger or this margin is known as the allowance, so that we can get the exact size. Now we come to the machining or finish allowance. So in case of the machining or finish allowance, basically, as we know that during the casting operation, we get only the basic shape and size of the final object. Okay. So if we get this type of shape, so and we require the dimensional accuracy, then we have to perform the machining operation. And in case of the machining operation, as we know that the unwanted material is removed with the help of the cutting tool. It means it will reduce in the size. So we have to provide the allowance here also for the machining purpose. So we have to make our pattern larger than the required casting. So you can see there is difference in the dimension before machining and after machining. Clear? The next one is the draft or taper allowance. Draft and taper allowance is provided in the vertical portions. Okay. Here you can see this gray area is showing the allowance which is provided. We will provide the little angle. Okay, so here the positive allowance is provided. We will provide a little angle to the vertical surfaces, okay, to prevent the damage while removing the pattern from the sand. This is the actual size which is required. Okay, so we have to provide the draft to the vertical surfaces also. In case of the distortion allowance, so the distortion can take place in the shapes which are irregular, because here the uneven solidification will take place, means some part will solidify fast and the other will solidify slowly, so because of the irregular shapes. So here the chances of distortion are more. For example, if the exact or the required casting shape is this one, okay, and we are not providing any allowance, so these sections are thin, this is the irregular shape, so here it will slightly bend. Okay, there are chances of bending of these shapes, so we will get this type of distorted casting. So what we will do, we will providing the little distort, or we will bend the pattern little in a direction which is opposite to the distortion. Okay, if we will make our pattern like this, then we will get this shape. Okay, otherwise we will get the distorted casting. So this is the camber pattern. Last one is the shake or the wrapping allowance. When we remove the pattern from the sand, we will shake it with the help of the mallet. Okay, and during the shaking or wrapping, the cavity will become large in size. So we have to provide the negative allowance here. Means we have to make the pattern smaller than the required casting. Okay, so this is only the case where the negative allowance will be provided. For example, this is the required size of the casting, but the pattern should be of this size. Okay, it will make smaller than the required size, because due to the wrapping process, in the shaking process, the cavity will become larger than the required. So these are the different types of allowances which we have to consider during the pattern design. Now we are going to discuss the different types of molding sand. So first sand is basically the green sand. So why it is known as the green sand? Because of the moisture available in it, or moisture present in it. So it is the mixture of the three components like the sand, clay and water. And the clay contains of green sand is about 30. The quantity of clay is the 30%. Okay, quantity of clay is 30% and water is 8%. Okay, and these clay and water is basically used to increase the binding strength of the sand. Next is the dry sand. Dry sand basically because it is dried out by baking. Okay, here the green sand mold will be baked or dried in an oven so that its moisture is evaporated. Okay, so here the green sand mold is baked or dried in an oven, and the moisture of this mold will evaporate. This sand is known as dry sand because there is no moisture present in it, but it has the high strength as compared to green sand. Okay, green sand. So it has high strength, so it can be used in large size casting. Then we have the loam sand. Okay, so in case of the loam sand is basically the mixture of the clay and water, sand, clay and water. But here the percentage is different from the green sand. Here the clay is about 50% and water is 18%. And this sand is also used for the big size casting. Okay. Then we have the facing sand. Why it is known as facing sand? Because it will form the face of the mold, or it will be in direct contact with the molten metal. Okay, so it is the main sand which is in direct contact with the molten metal, and it is used for making the faces of the mold. Okay, then we have the backing sand, means which will be used for backup, or which will be used for backing up the facing sand. Okay, and this is the reused or used sand which will be used to fill the flask. Okay, this sand is used to back up the facing sand, and the total flask is poured by baking sand after pouring the facing sand. Then we have the parting sand, means for parting the two boxes so that the sand particle not stick with each other. Okay, the sand is free from the moisture and clay content, and it is used to separate the cope and track, these two flasks. Okay, this sand does not stick with the pattern के साथ stick नहीं करेगा ये. Core sand, if we want to control the internal cavity, then we use the core, and for making this core we use the core sand, and this is basically it is the mixture of the normal silica sand with the oil, and that's why it is also known as the oil sand. Clear? Then we should have the different properties in the molding sand. So what type of properties we need? First one, it should have the strength. Strength is basically the ability of the sand mold to hold its geometric shape under the condition of the mechanical stresses. Then we should have the permeability or the porosity. Means it is the ability of a sand mold to permit the escape of gases. Otherwise, the defective casting will be produced. There will be small holes will be produced in the casting. Okay, so it should have the ability to permit the escape of gases and steam during the casting process. Clear? Then it should have the refractoriness also. Refractoriness is the ability of the molding sand to withstand the extreme heat, because we will pour the molten metal into it. So our molding sand should be able to withstand this high temperature. The mold must not melt, burn or crack as the molten metal is poured into it. Then it should have the flowability or plasticity also, so that the molten metal could flow. Okay? In each it should have the flowability or plasticity also, so that the sand can fill in each corner of the box. Okay, the capacity of the sand to fill small cavity in the pattern. Okay, reusability means it can be reused. Yani ability of a molding sand to be reused to produce the other sand castings in subsequent manufacturing operations. Then it should have the property of adhesiveness. Adhesiveness is basically the properties which will allow the sand to adhere or stick to the sides of the molding box. Then it should have the cohesiveness also, means it is a property which will allow the sand grains to stick together. Then collapsibility means the ability of the sand mixture to collapse under the forces. Clear? So greater mold collapsibility will allow the metal casting to shrink freely as it solidifies without the risk of hot tearing or cracking. So these are the properties which we need in our molding sand. So this is all from my side for today's lecture. So in today's lecture we discussed about the casting process, pattern which we will use, the different allowances that we will consider during the designing of the pattern, and then we discussed about the different types of molding sand and the properties of molding sand that we need, okay, during the casting. So thank you very much.